Hi, I'm Vicki Stark. I'm the author of Runaway Husbands, and I want to thank you so much for coming tonight to this live Facebook Q&A, or for looking at this video if you're watching it on YouTube. I'm always trying to help you guys and share with you the things that I've learned over the, how long has it been? 14 years since my husband left. And after having spoken to so many hundreds and even thousands of other women, so many bright, intelligent, beautiful, warm, special women who are members of our unique community. Tonight we have two focuses. One is about why he hates you. And the second is about how to prepare for seeing your husband or your ex-husband at a family event. So the first question comes from Leonie, and hi Leonie, and she says, how long can they continue to hate you, and or at what point will they start blaming their unhappiness on their new partner's spouse instead of us? Well, I want to address the first part of that question. How long will they continue to hate you? And with regard to whether they're going to start blaming their new partner or spouse, I really have no idea, because I really don't have access to these men and their relationships after they leave you. I only hear about them through the women who have been left. And I also at this moment want to read the second question along the same lines, which is from Jackie. And she says, I really struggle with the immediate hate directed towards me and lack of empathy, and the poor reasons why he decided to leave and go with someone he doesn't even know after nearly 20 years with me. So lots of times women say to me, why is he so angry with me? He's the one who left. How does he get to be so mad at me? It's like incomprehensible. I certainly experienced that with my own husband when he left. And I was just floored when he said, I'm the victim here. How does he get to say that? And so in trying to understand why they're so angry, what I believe is that for a lot of these men, to make the decision to leave is not easy. Particularly because the wives are such spectacular women, very often great caretakers. They create a beautiful family. And they create a home, and these men are very ambivalent to leave. So in order to get themselves to leave, because they're going back and forth, and particularly for those men like my husband who have had long-term affairs, they're going back and forth, really assessing and judging, should I stay with the girlfriend or should I stay with my wife? Should I go with the girlfriend or stay with my wife? So they have to push you away really powerfully. To stop themselves from running back into the comfort of the marriage. I think that they might know that they want to leave, but they don't have the strength to do so. And so they have to create this narrative that turns you into the villain. They have to gather together all of the little bits and pieces of things that you might have done in ways in which you're not perfect. And then puff it up, poof, 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 inflate it so that it becomes really, really big. And so that in their own minds, they can have a fabulous reason to leave. And they can pin that blame on you. And they need to do that, because if they don't blame you, then they have to take some responsibility. And because these are men with a fragile ego, a fragile internal state, they don't have the courage to take responsibility for their actions. So they push you away really vigorously. And then they create this narrative whereby you're the villain. And then they get really mad at you. And I think that there's a second factor in all this, which is that, I know this was true in my marriage, that throughout your marriage, you were dedicated to making his life easy, to helping him, to talk things through about his work, to be there for him, to take care of him when he was sick. And he's used to you in that position as his caretaker. And then when he tells you that he's leaving, and you don't make it easy for him. You fall apart. You're crying. You're calling him. You're begging. You're suffering. You're losing weight. You're on the floor. You're making it so difficult for him, and you're exposing him to the community and telling people what he did and all of those things. He gets so mad at you because of your reaction. He may have had this fantasy that, yeah, he'll be sad for a month or two, and then you're a strong woman. You'll get over it. You know, you're not going to fall apart. And he resents you for making it hard for him to leave. So, you know, I suppose that figures in with that narrative, you know, that he has to create that things are your fault. And then he will blame you for being dramatic and for not recognizing that things have been bad for a long time, because that's the story that he wants to create. So the anger is there, the hate is there. It serves him to hate you, because if he had empathy for you, well, then he'd be somebody else and he wouldn't be in this community, because he wouldn't be a covert narcissist. But if he had empathy for you, then he's more vulnerable to run back to the safety of his household and safety of you. And he's already warred with himself, you know, battled with himself to get himself out of the house. So I hope that's clear. I think it's very complex, but I think that it serves him to be angry with you. Alrighty. So the last question that we have is from Carol. And she says, my daughter postponed her wedding until December 2021, but decided to have a very small legal ceremony this December. So there will only be about 8 people there. And I'll be seeing my ex for the first time in over 3 years. What can I do to prepare? Well, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. You know, you're going to be in a small room with him and just a handful of other people. And this is going to be a challenge for you, Carol, particularly since you haven't seen him in 3 years. But hey, maybe he won't look so good. But what you need to do is you need to make up your mind that this is a precious day in the course of your life. I hope you're happy about your daughter getting married. Congratulations. It's a blessing, and that you're not going to let him or anyone ruin it for you. That this milestone comes around, you know, these kinds of milestones come around very rarely, and you're going to have to diminish his importance in whatever's been going on in your life on that December day. Now, I have a friend who was in the exact same situation, and her daughter was getting married, and she hadn't seen her ex for a long time. She was so nervous about it. But then when the wedding started, you know, when she was there, of course it was a bigger wedding, it was pre-COVID, she forgot about him because she kept her focus on her daughter and the new husband. And she actually had a fabulous time. So it is possible that you two could have a wonderful time at your daughter's wedding, and that you can take it back and not let him have the power to color it for you. Now, one of the ways that you can do that is to make a mantra. And I don't remember if I wrote about it in Runaway Husbands, but nevertheless, this is how you do it. You think about 3 words that describe your ideal state of mind on that special December day of your daughter's wedding. So it might be something like happy, relaxed, centered. Whatever it is you want to come up with. And then you repeat those 3 words to yourself. When you're thinking about the wedding and your stomach is in a knot thinking, oh God, he's going to be there. Then you repeat to yourself, happy, relaxed, centered, happy, relaxed, centered, happy, relaxed, centered, or whatever it is you choose. And then when you're in the car, you're driving over there to the wedding, and you're feeling some tension rising in you, you say, happy, relaxed, centered, happy, relaxed, centered, happy, relaxed, centered. Now, how this works is that words have tremendous power. So while you're saying happy, relaxed, centered, it helps you feel the meaning of those words. And your mind can't do 2 things at the same time. It can't be thinking, oh my God, he's going to be there, and happy, relaxed, centered at the same time. So you're sort of replacing the nervousness and the fear with your mantra, that you're going to repeat to yourself until you get yourself really in the frame of mind that you want to be in. And I think that the watchword for you is relaxed. Maybe joyous might be nice also. Excited. It all sounds good to me. So I hope you have a wonderful time at your daughter's wedding, and that rather than feel like it's a burden, I hope you really look forward to it as a delight. So that's it for tonight. Again, I want to remind you that we have the Jump Up Online coming up in less than 2 weeks on September 26th and 27th, and the year is 2020. This is a very special Jump Up. We have women coming from all over the world, and it's a 2-day event. We're going to be spending, it's 4.5 hours of learning each day, as well as communing with other women who are in the same stage of recovery as you. So it's really an opportunity to move your healing forward quite dramatically. And if you can possibly come, I really recommend it. I know it's going to make a difference. And you'll let me know if there's anything that's holding you back from coming, because I want to try to make it possible for everyone. So that's it for tonight, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.